Greetings, FleshWound horror freaks, and welcome to SLASHTOBER. I'm FleshWound Dan, joined by producer Todd,
Good evening.
Pugs Dread,
Namaste. Trick or treat.
and Mike Kruger.
Welcome to prime time, bitch.
So before we get into tonight's film and let the bloodletting begin, Kruger, let us know. How does this?
So what we do for our Slashtober special is rate and review a Halloween-themed film, and then at the end of the episode, we add that movie to a list compiled from our previous episodes to vote and decide which of the films we want to eliminate, leaving us with our top 3 Halloween horror films, aka our 3 final girls. And once we get to the final episode of this season, Slashtober, we will choose one of those final 3 as this season's winner. So Todd, why don't you tell us what movie we have tonight and what this year's Slashtober statistics have been so far?
Thanks, Kruger. Up tonight, we have Cemetery of Terror, and it will be going up against The Guest, Hack-A-Lantern, and Ernest Scared Stupid. Already eliminated The Clown Murders, Stan Helsing, American Fright Fest, Halloween Night, Killer Eye Halloween Haunt, Murder Party, and The Pumpkin Carver. So, Dan, why don't you tell us about Cemetery of Terror?
All right, so Cemetery of Terror is a 1985 Mexican horror film from director Rubén Galindo Jr. And in this one, it's Halloween night and a group of bored teenagers decide to pull a ghastly prank, stealing a corpse from the local morgue and taking it to a nearby cemetery where they perform a satanic ritual in an attempt to bring it back to life. Unfortunately, they happen to choose a body of a savage serial killer who's just been shot dead by the police, ending a recent string of satanically influenced murders. Unwittingly reviving the bloodthirsty sadists to the realm of the undead, the group of fun-seeking youngsters risk becoming dinner for the devil-worshipping zombie, with only a cult expert, Dr. Cardin, able to try and put an end to the madness. All right, so Cemetery of Terror, which was recently, well, about a year ago, put on Blu-ray by Vinegar Syndrome, which I highly recommend checking that Blu-ray out. The first notable thing about this, star Hugo Stiglitz, you may recognize, also starred in the 1980 Umberto Lenzi classic Nightmare City. He was also a regular for Rene Cardona, which Rene Cardona's Rene Cardona III, Rene Cardona's grandson, is also in the cast here. If you don't know the Cardona name, that's basically Mexican royalty in terms of film. He was in Tinto Terra, The Killer Shark, Cyclone, Survive, Guyana, Cult of the Damned, all films for both Cardona Sr. and Jr. So definitely a name you don't hear a whole lot, but he is a cult film icon. This was actually influenced by a lot of things, but primarily Thriller. The director was influenced by Michael Jackson's Thriller.
That's amazing.
Which makes sense because you got a kid with a Michael Jackson jacket rolling around, and it's a unique storyline because it's kind of a slasher turned zombie siege flick, which I think kind of works because it kind of goes from like almost like a Fulci-esque.
Yeah, it feels. This movie feels super Fulci.
Yeah, Fulci-esque, and then it becomes kind of like Scooby-Doo, which is kind of cool with zombies, because you follow like 2 separate groups, so it is set up a little bit different than most things you would see at the time. And I've always liked this one. It's not a classic by any means, but I'm a fan of Mexican horror in general. This director also
Wait. Is it Barrio approved then, Dan?
It is. This director also did Grave Robbers, which was his follow-up, I believe, and Don't Panic, which seems to be the one that I don't know, when that came out on Blu-ray, it seemed like a whole lot of people came out of the woodwork saying they loved it. The 80s was a big boom period for Mexican horror. they were still kind of going strong on the slashers even after the golden period kind of died in the US. And yeah, it is. It's like a zombie slasher hybrid, and I like it. I know it was like a modest success in Mexico, kind of a cult favorite, and it did have a US theatrical, but it was super limited. You probably got it in California, I would imagine. And
That's racist.
yeah, no, it's not. Uh, so,
In Texas.
considering this was shot in Texas,
There you go.
a little odd actually, because it is Halloween, like expressly, but you would expect it to be kind of a Day of the Dead kind of thing. But they were obviously going for sort of international appeal in the U.S. market, and
you can definitely see that they're not trying to go super Spanish in a lot of their telling, like
yeah,
the typical Spanish horror
for
film.
sure. And 23 years old, first feature film. His dad was also a director, and I think he did a pretty good job. Cheesy, fun horror film that I think is a little more unique than you'd expect it to be. But any first time watch?
Yep. Yeah, this was a first time watch for me. And I agree with basically everything you said. Feels like an AD slasher, and then halfway through it turns almost into like a Fulci Gates of Hell trilogy-esque thing going on. And really cool. I thought the kills were good too. Like, not necessarily like the most creative kills in the world, but they are bloody and look like they hurt. And this big hulking maniac that has come back from the dead, the way he's slicing people up with his fingernails and stuff just looked really brutal and had some nice scenes in there. And yeah, I mean, even the opening scene with the killer like chasing that chick in the elevator, like that just really set the mood well. Things do kind of get a little bit slow at times, but once it picks up, I think within like the last like 40 minutes, it really never lets off the gas pedal, and it throwing all those paranormal elements in there was just really cool. Now, while I like the movie, it didn't really like completely ooze Halloween for me like I was hoping it to. Like, you didn't have a lot of like you had like maybe one scene where a few people were dressed up, but outside of that one scene, it didn't really have that Halloween feel, other than maybe like the graveyard setting and stuff like that. You could get something out of that, but not a lot of pumpkins and stuff. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's like one of the most Halloween feel movies that we've gotten so far, but I still did like it.
I also meant to say no main like protagonist in this, and we do get like we get a discount bin Loomis that they don't really develop too much. But Pugs, how about you? First time watch?
Loomis, sir. No, I actually saw this a while back.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of this movie. I think it's fun. It just throws everything in the kitchen sink at you, and I do enjoy that. Sometimes I can get overwhelmed when shit changes course like that, but I liked everybody in there. I thought the Hagrid-looking killer was fucking cool. He's got Charlie Manson face going on, so that's always good. The clawing is really fun. Yeah, this is just a good time, and the zombies at the end are what got me. It's like, how did we get here? This is not the journey I was taking, but I'm glad we ended up here. So, yeah, I dig this a lot. Todd?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. This one's one I know. I'm pretty sure we reviewed it previously, but and I don't remember what I gave it then. I know I like it, and I have since the first time I've seen it. I can't argue with it. It feels like it needs a little more Halloween, but I think that's part of you said throw everything into a kitchen sink approach, which I think someone just we'll make it on Halloween night. So that's kind of the way it feels like. They got like. They wanted to hit all these like American things to make it feel American. So.
Yeah,
I do really enjoy it.
Yeah, it's fun. And I don't think we actually did review this one, oddly enough, for some reason.
I know I wasn't on that episode. If you did,
yeah.
Could have fell through the cracks, but we are now.
We might have done Grave Robbers, but and we did do Don't Panic.
You know what? We probably saved it for /Tober.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, check this one out. I'm curious what people think about it.
Has this been on Shudder?
Yeah,
I think,
probably.
yeah,
I
I
think
was
it
gonna
was
say-
at one point.
Yeah,
I don't know if it
because I think
currently
Don't
is.
Panic was so.
Right now, it's on Tubi. So
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
There you go.
By all means, check that shit out.
So yeah. Well, let's go ahead and rate it.
Kruger,
3.5 out of 5 for me.
Pugs,
I am also a 3.5 out of 5.
Dan.
I am a 3.
Count me in on the 3.5 out of 5.
All right.
So, all right. Well, now here we go. Elimination time. Up for elimination today, we have The Guest, Hack-A-Lantern, Ernest Scared Stupid, and Cemetery of Terror. Kruger, what are you saying?
Hack-A-Lantern. Fuck it.
And Pugs?
I will also go Hack-A-Lantern.
Well, I already
Guest.
tried to get it out before. Hack-A-Lantern too.
Oh,
And you
okay.
notice Dan always answers before I throw it to him.
He gets
I
excited.
thought you were going to me first. Sorry. All right. Well, that was quick.
That was easier than I thought.
What were you eliminating, Dan?
The Guest.
Really?
Okay.
He's
Not
really
a Halloween movie. But... All right.
You could argue. You could argue that though for Cemetery of Terror, Dan.
It's not the most Halloween of Halloween. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
All right.
I am shocked that this was a breeze. It's coming though, man.
But yeah, this next one, I don't know.
Ooh, what we got next? We'll find out next time. So,
Yeah.
All right.
Dan?
Tune in and good night. Keep having a happy Halloween and keep tuning in to SLASHTOBER.
Good evening.
Stay sick, motherfuckers.
Check your candy. I'll see you in Disneyland.